So I want to start out by giving you some great news. And this is coming from a study that the information was just released this week. It was a study in Finland. And so I'm going to be sharing screen here so we can begin and take a look at this. But we're going to be talking about basically how you can stay younger longer. And if you're already older, what is it that you can do to help improve your health and maybe even reverse some of the markers of aging? So this is really exciting information about this study out of Finland, because it's showing that older people today are smarter, stronger, and faster than their counterparts from 30 years ago. And we're going to be posting this study on social media, so don't worry about writing it down right now. But if you were to scroll through the study, you can see how they took a variety of physical and cognitive tests. And when they're looking at why is it that this older generation from back in the 1980s did not perform as well as people today, they get to some of these conclusions, and they've been looking at things like better nutrition, hygiene, improved education, and improved quality of life, improved working life. So what this means is that we do not have to be victims of our biology, meaning the old model in biology is that you're born, you age, and you die. Information like this is saying that we don't have to age the way people have always said we do, that we progressively become weaker and slower, and we lose our mental faculties as we age. In fact, this information says, well, things like better nutrition and having a better work life can lead to being smarter, stronger, and faster. Well, we don't want to leave things to chance. What is it that we can do today to invest in ourselves and ensure that as we age, we're going to have a better quality of life, so we don't have to worry about the aging process? Now, as we start off into this conversation, I want to remind everyone that I am not a medical doctor, and none of the information that's presented today is going to be medical advice. So if you have any type of medical condition, you should speak with your healthcare practitioner before taking any of these recommendations. And if you have, of course, a serious health condition, you may not want to use these products. That's up for your medical doctor to decide. So with all that being said, when we want to look at how can we really optimize our health, it always has to start with the foundation of proper diet. We want to eat correctly, supplement where needed, drink plenty of water, get exercise regularly, and of course, get proper sleep. So this is to say that these things have to be a foundation. Now, beyond that, we know that if we eat right, if we exercise, and we get good sleep, we are still going to age. So the question is there anything that we can do to slow down or even reverse some of the signs and the symptoms of aging? And the exciting thing is that the answer is yes, there is. So we're going to start out today, and we're going to take a look at this miracle nutrient, carnosine. Now, one of the things about carnosine is that it is a miracle nutrient that most people have never heard of, and everyone should be taking. And I think you'll agree that after you see this information on carnosine, and especially the way carnosine and X39 work together, these are going to be things that you'll want to use and incorporate into your life. So let's talk about some of the benefits of carnosine. This is an overview. So first thing is carnosine is what's called a dipeptide, and it's composed of 2 amino acids. Carnosine also has a number of important metabolic functions in the body. First, it can function as an antioxidant. And this is important because carnosine is found in the brain, in the heart, in the muscle, and it can protect those parts of the body from oxidative stress and inflammatory stress. One very interesting property of carnosine is that it's the most powerful anti-glycation nutrient that's ever been discovered. What this means is that sugars can bind with proteins and create inflammatory stress in the body known as glycation, and carnosine can help to minimize this. Also, carnosine has been shown in clinical studies to reduce oxidative stress and oxidative damage, especially in the brain and the blood. Now, if we were to look at exactly what is a significant contributing factor to aging, we would definitely say it's oxidative stress and inflammatory stress. So in other words, anything that we can do to reduce stress that's placed on the body is going to improve our health and longevity, and carnosine does that very well. Now, when we're looking at aging and we want to get benefits today, one of the things that we found in our studies is that when you use the carnosine patch, you're going to see improvements in muscle strength and stamina your very first week. So this is not something that you have to wait years to see the benefits. You can actually get improvements, measurable improvements, your very first week. Now, as people age, they experience something or can experience something called sarcopenia, which means muscle loss. And you can lose, let's say, up to 1% of your muscle per year. And of course, this is going to contribute to people having fatigue and loss of strength and stamina when they're getting into their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Well, carnosine helps to prevent this process of sarcopenia, and it helps to support overall muscle strength and stamina. So when we're talking about aging and we want to be healthy and strong into old age, carnosine is going to be a very valuable nutrient to support an exercise program. Now, we're not going to make any medical claims. I am going to be showing you a number of clinical studies about carnosine. You'll be really excited about the information, but I do want to communicate that we're not making any claims that we're treating any types of medical conditions with any of our products. So this is some information that you should be aware of, though. Now, when people do not get enough sleep, so let's say you're only sleeping 4 hours a day, this is something that you're really going to want to take care of, other than you're not going to be feeling very well. You're going to see an accumulation of something called beta amyloid 2 protein. And beta amyloid 2 protein is closely associated with Alzheimer's disease. So in a number of animal studies, carnosine has been shown to reduce or blunt some of the toxic effects of beta amyloid 2 protein. Now, when you're doing animal studies, it doesn't always mean that this is going to translate to human beings, so we want to take some caution here. But it is very exciting that carnosine may end up being a nutrient to help to protect people from Alzheimer's disease. We'll have to see what the future holds through further research. One thing that is definitely known about carnosine, and many of our members have shared this with us, is that it definitely helps to promote wound healing. And as you're going to see in one of the studies that we're going to show, carnosine definitely has improvements in overall cognitive function. We've seen that in our own studies, and there's certainly plenty of information that's been done by independent researchers to show this link as well. Now, interestingly enough, taking carnosine supplements is not the most effective way to elevate carnosine. The problem is that if you take a carnosine pill, it's broken down by your stomach acids, And that means that the carnosine is not getting into the blood where it is needed. So this is one of the incredible advantages of our technology. We're going to be stimulating the skin with light, and this acts as a signal to create an increase in carnosine. Now, one final note that is important is that vegetarians notoriously have low levels of carnosine. And this is because from the diet, carnosine is primarily found in meat. So if you want to be a vegetarian, I would strongly suggest that you look into consuming beta-alanine. Beta-alanine is one of the amino acids that carnosine is made of. It's beta-alanine and histidine, but beta-alanine, or just simply alanine, is usually not found in a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet. So you may want to supplement with the amino acid alanine to make sure that you have that amino acid so you can make carnosine. Okay, let's go ahead and dig into some more information here on the potential of carnosine. And as a matter of fact, we are going to start off with a study here on the potential of carnosine in brain-related disorders. Now, the reason why I want to bring this up is to show you that carnosine is so powerful that it is being looked at as a therapy for brain-related disorders. You usually find very few nutritional supplements, very few natural nutrients that are being looked at as therapeutic treatments for significant diseases like Alzheimer's disease, as an example. So this is simply to communicate to you that carnosine is incredibly powerful, and it needs to be looked at in that way. Okay, so let's take a look at this here. And if you take a look at the abstract, it's simply going to be going over a summary of why carnosine is being looked at. And the thing that we want to do is just simply scroll down. There's going to be a tremendous amount of information here on carnosine. You can see that they're interested in looking at neurodegenerative disorders such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, psychiatric disorders. Actually, you can find, if you Google carnosine and psychiatric disorders, it's one of the interesting applications that people look at. But let's go ahead, even epilepsy. Let's go ahead and go down over here to the conclusion, because there's some things here that I want to point out. But much of this interest in carnosine is based on the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects that are well established in the literature. Even chelation. It is known that carnosine can help to bind to aluminum and remove aluminum from the brain. So I hope none of you are drinking soda. And if you are, I hope you're not drinking soda out of a can. And the same thing with beer. I hope that you're not drinking beer out of an aluminum can, because this aluminum can get into the body, it can get into the brain and cause problems. Fortunately, carnosine can detoxify aluminum from the body. But in any case, what I wanted to point out is that there have been human studies that have shown promising results of supplementation with carnosine or its precursors, meaning beta-alanine, for specific cognitive functions. So this is going to mean that carnosine is so powerful that, let's say that you don't have any of these health disorders, this is a very significant tool in improving brain function. And when we're talking about brain function, we're going to show some other information here. We're talking about short-term memory, long-term memory, even the speed at which your brain processes information can be improved with carnosine. So this is incredibly exciting. Okay. Now, here's another reference. This was in Science Direct, and if you simply go to sciencedirect.com and you use their search tool and you look for carnosine, you're going to see that there are a number of studies that have been done on carnosine relating to cognitive function. And again, it's going to be more information on how carnosine improves brain function, even protects the brain from damaging oxidative stress and inflammatory stress. So this is just a resource if you're interested in learning a little bit more about carnosine as for wound healing or carnosine in improving brain function. You can go to Science Direct and find some of those things here. But it just simply means there is a ton of research by many independent scientists into the use of carnosine for improving brain function and overall health. Okay. Now, here's another look at carnosine from a different perspective, possible benefit of dietary carnosine towards depressive disorders. Now, I want to bring up this study and also, or this review and another study as a caution. And again, if you're just going to Google this information, you want to learn more about carnosine and health, you're quickly going to find these references. And I want to take this opportunity to emphasize that we are not claiming that carnosine is going to treat any of these medical conditions. So please don't share that with any customers or any people that you're speaking with. We simply say that carnosine is used to help support healthy brain function, improve memory, and improve strength, stamina, and endurance. So down over here in the last sentence, it is therefore proposed that the therapeutic potential of carnosine towards stress-related and depressive disorders should be examined. So again, they're kind of saying that there's not conclusive evidence that carnosine could be used this way as a medical treatment, but there's enough information there that it should be explored. But again, if we are not suffering with these health conditions, we can say, wow, I can get an improvement in memory, focus, support the health of the heart, support overall muscle strength and stamina, and get a dramatic improvement in quality of life and help to protect my future. Okay, and then the last one is, again, when you do research on carnosine, you're going to find out that there are many scientists looking at its potential role as a treatment in schizophrenia. Now, many of these studies were done on animal testing, and it's not always going to translate over to human beings. So whether or not this ends up being true or not, you know, we have to see. But again, just a caution that this is something that you would find in searches. And again, we're not claiming that our product should be used this way. In fact, if someone has a condition as serious as schizophrenia, they should be speaking with their medical doctor before using our product and make sure the medical doctor is approving that. Okay, well, let's move on now and talk about some of the research that we've done on carnosine and X39 and why you would want to use these two products together. Now, if you go to the science section of our website and you scroll down, you're going to see our research. Now, we have at this point conducted in our nearly 20 years now over 80 clinical studies, and that number is constantly growing. And we do our research looking at traditional blood, urine, and saliva testing, various types of bioelectrical tests, and we're able to get a very good picture of how the patches work and what type of benefits that people can expect. So one of the things that since we're talking about cognitive function, I thought that I would just go over some information on X39 because this information is so visual. Many of you will have seen this before, but I just want to pull it up anyway tonight as a reference. This study was done by Dr. Gaetan Chevalier, and Dr. Chevalier, incredibly brilliant guy. He, in his career, has done research into nuclear fusion at UCLA. He's an expert in laser spectroscopy, and he's also an expert in measuring the biophoton emission from the human body, which is a study that we have done with him. But right now, what we want to look at is using a multi-channel EEG in assessing the health and the function of the brain. Now, here's some information on SciTech Labs, which is the research center that Dr. Chevalier works at. And this information here just gives you a little bit about brain mapping, which I'll go through with you now. And we use a piece of equipment called a P300, and this is a multi-channel EEG. And essentially what this device will do is measure the different frequencies in the brain in different regions. And this can tell us how well different regions of the brain are communicating with one another, and that gives some insight into the overall health and the performance of the brain. Now, if you're wondering, this is the device. This is what the device looks like. I always tend to think it kind of looks like some next generation bike helmet, but those are actually surface electrodes that are placed around the brain so brain signals can be picked up. There's a better look at it. And you can even see a list here that if someone is suffering from things like autism, PTSD, anxiety, depression, Alzheimer's, that this would be a tool that researchers can use to find out what might be a therapy that would help for people suffering with these disorders. So this is the piece of equipment that was utilized in the study with X39 and brain function. So let's take a quick look at that. If you were to click on this link, you would go to the study. So we have it right over here. So because I have covered this study in prior product trainings, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it now. We're just going to scroll down and look at one or two of the results. Okay. So what we're going to look at here is a scan of the brain. And this is the first participant. I should note that this was the first pilot study that we did, and we've subsequently followed this up with a 50-person double-blind study. And the reason is because this study produced such exciting results. 12 out of 12 people had dramatic improvements in their cognitive function. And all of the participants were over the age of 60. So again, this means we would expect people over the age of 60 to have declining brain function. Now we're showing with X39 and with CARNOSINE, you don't have to accept that. You can still improve and recover what you lost. So here's a good example. A woman, 77 years old, yoga instructor. Session 1 is at baseline before X39 was applied. We activate the stem cells. 3 weeks later, a dramatic change and improvement. Session 3 is at 6 weeks. And again, you can see there's a continued improvement in brain function. Now, what are you really looking here when you see these change in colors? It simply means that the brain is going down into a more relaxed state, and the different regions of the brain now are communicating better. When the different regions of your brain are communicating better, you are in a better state of health. You're more calm, more relaxed, and when you're under less stress, you're going to have better health. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. Now, what about carnosine? Well, yes, we have done multiple clinical studies on carnosine, and this one that we're going to talk about this evening was specifically done on the use of carnosine to not only help prevent but restore mental decline in people that are older. Now, this study was done by two very prominent researchers, Dr. Tom and Helen Budzinski, husband and wife. And Dr. Budzinski actually wrote a number of the neurofeedback textbooks that are used in college courses for people that are going to go into neurofeedback. So really brilliant guy. So he became interested in Lifewave and the potential of a number of our patches, such as glutathione and carnosine. So you can go to the website, again, the science section of the website, and you can click on this. But I want to scroll down so we can take a look at the conclusion that was reached here, because I think you're going to find it very interesting. Okay. So carnosine patches have definitely shown their worth in the study by those in the treatment group. And it's important when you read through the study, what you're going to see is that they found that in people over the age of 60, that carnosine was improving their mental awareness, their alertness, their memory, and even the speed at which they process information. Now, imagine if you were an athlete, you were a competitive athlete, the speed at which your brain processes information could make the difference of you being a so-so player to being a great player. So this is how we're seeing carnosine play a role in athletics. But for all the rest of us that are not professional athletes, if you want to succeed in the workplace, the speed at which your brain processes information, your overall memory, and cognitive capacity could make the difference between having an okay job and a great job. And certainly what we're showing here is that even after 30 days of using carnosine, we're seeing improvements in people that are older and have experienced some cognitive decline. Okay, so you can go again and read through some of this. So this is really just all to say that as we age, we do not have to be in a position of saying, well, I'm going to age. I know my body's going to get weaker. I know that I'm going to start to lose my memory. That's really the old way of looking at life and at health. Today, we know that there are techniques that are available, such as using carnosine and X39, where we don't have to be afraid of losing our memory, our focus, our stamina, muscle mass. There are solutions to these things, and carnosine is extraordinarily powerful, and it's something that you should really look at and try. Okay. So we have a few minutes left, and I do want to take a look at some of the questions that have been submitted here. Do both X39 and carnosine speed wound healing? Which works more efficiently? So X39, of course, activates stem cells. Carnosine is going to help to manage the inflammatory process. And again, it is a very powerful anti-glycation nutrient. So it's going to help to protect the negative effects of when sugars bind with proteins. And this is involved in wound healing. So it explains why carnosine is so valuable in wound healing. So when we say do both products, I would say both products support wound healing. That would be a legal way of saying it. When you say which works more efficiently, they do completely different things. So you could look at this as carnosine, by helping to manage inflammation at an injury site, is going to be supporting wound healing. You would say X39 because it helps to bring stem cells to an injury site. That's going to help to support wound healing. So they do different things. If you were going to choose only one, I would choose X39. By far, X39, because of activating stem cells, is going to be extraordinarily powerful for supporting wound healing. So I would pick X39. Take a little bit of water here. Okay, would you recommend using carnosine daily? Apologies, I just lost that question. Okay. Would you recommend using carnosine daily for people who suffer from cognitive dysfunction? And is there any particular placement? Okay. So if someone was getting older and they were experiencing normal cognitive decline, definitely I would recommend carnosine. Now, there would be some other things that you could use in your diet. For example, fatty fish such as mackerel and salmon, which are high in omega-3 fatty acids, especially as we age. Now, this is important for all of us. Our brain requires more DHA. DHA is an essential fatty acid, and it's one of the omega-3s. So as we age, we really should pay attention to our diet, make sure we're getting more omega-3s, and especially DHA. And that's going to also be a very, very powerful way that we can support our overall health and especially our cognitive function. Okay. Hi, David. Thank you for the great information. You're very welcome. I have a question. I have a person who has trouble with sleep. She is 53 and sleeps 4 to 5 hours max a day. She has been on X39 for a month, tried Silent Nights as well as Olivita, but nothing seems to help. Could carnosine help? Okay, there could be any number of things going on here. So it's a little bit difficult to say based on this information. But this is something that would be important to all of you, potentially, so let's talk about it for a moment. First of all, anyone that has normally a good quality of sleep could have their sleep interrupted by any number of things. So we have to evaluate the conditions under which someone is sleeping. For example, is someone eating right before they go to sleep? The energy required for digestion could be causing a problem. Of course, did someone have something like coffee or soda with a stimulant? That's obviously going to have an effect. One thing that people often overlook is the environment that they're sleeping in. Even small amounts of light can keep people awake. So you want to make sure that you're sleeping in an environment that is as dark as possible. Also, when we're looking at our smartphones, when we're looking at computers, the blue light that is coming off of these devices can turn on our brains and keep us awake. So at least 30 minutes or an hour before going to sleep, you want to put your smartphone and your computer away. So if someone's really having a problem sleeping, I would be looking at the environment that they're sleeping in to see if any of these things in their lifestyle could be the problem. Okay, what's the best location for the carnosine patch? Well, when we conduct our studies, we are applying the carnosine patch either behind the neck or below the belly button. And this is great because it works on the entire body. So just like X39, you can apply the carnosine patch just about anywhere, and you're going to find that you're going to get great results. The placement is not as critical. Okay. Doesn't the X39 address some of the same issues as carnosine? The answer is yes, some of the same issues. So in other words, X39 will support wound healing. Carnosine does that, but in a different way. X39 is going to help people recover from exercise. So will carnosine. Where carnosine is different than X39 is that carnosine is stored in the brain, the heart, and the muscle. So carnosine is metabolized in the body different than copper peptide. So the two are very synergistic. They're going to support the activity of one another. Okay, what effects may experiencing, this is really saying if a woman is breastfeeding, can she use the patches? The answer is no. We have never done a study on women that are breastfeeding and using the patches, so at this time, we can't recommend them. A lot of great questions tonight. Thank you. Are there any benefits? Oh, this is interesting. Are there any benefits that are any different when carnosine is worn at night versus the daytime? Okay, the benefits are going to be the same because you're elevating the same nutrient. However, there are some benefits to nutrient timing. Many people, including myself, if I wear carnosine at night, it will give me very intense dreams. And I can sleep the whole night, but my brain is awake. If you're one of those people, you'll understand. So what I would say is try wearing carnosine at night. You may find that it relaxes you and you sleep great. Other people will find that it gives them intense dreams and it keeps them awake for a very long period of time, mentally awake. Okay, why is it recommended to only use carnosine 1 to 3 times per week? Okay, you can use carnosine 7 days per week if you wish. It's just that carnosine is not metabolized as quickly as something like, for example, glutathione. Glutathione is metabolized and has a half-life of 7 minutes. Carnosine stays in the body a little bit longer. So if you're not exercising daily, then maybe using carnosine 3 or 4 days a week is enough for you. If you're engaged in more mental activity, if you're engaged in physical exercise 5-6 days a week, you might want to use carnosine more frequently. What would be your best placement for carnosine in the evening for memory loss? Again, you can apply it pretty much anywhere. If you really wanted to apply it around the brain, you could apply it at the right temple, or you could apply it right in the center of the forehead at what's called the third eye point. But even still, just applying on the back of the neck, where we used it in the studies, works quite well. Okay, we are getting some questions regarding the use of carnosine in medical treatments. And again, we cannot claim that our products can be used to treat or be used for a medical condition. If that's something of interest to you, I would suggest that you speak with your medical doctor and let your medical doctor decide. Okay, could carnosine help with plaque in the arteries? We could really do an entire training on this because this would be making a medical claim. I wouldn't be talking about any of the patches, but I would be talking about significant amounts of evidence and studies that have been done on natural materials that remove arterial plaque. Pomegranate extract, as an example, has been used to help remove. The enzymes in pomegranate extract have been used to remove arterial plaque. Buckwheat seed is another one that has been used to remove arterial plaque. So this is something that I think is generally not known. It's been, I think, buried because of, well, we won't have to get into that. In any case, there are nutritional or alternatives that can help remove arterial plaque and maybe help to prevent surgery. I have certainly seen studies that show after several months of using a number of natural materials like pomegranate seed extract for one, buckwheat seed, that you can completely reverse arterial plaque and avoid surgery. Can all the patches help horses too? Well, the patches that we have studied on horses and dogs are things like Icewave and Eon. Legally, though, we have it set up with Aculife, and Aculife is the same as Icewave. So because we haven't studied X39 on horses or glutathione on horses, I can't say, but basically it should work, but we can't make that claim. All right, maybe one more question. Now we got some repeats here. This could be a fun one. We'll do this. Okay, you've mentioned 3 new products already developed but not yet released. Any dates on the release of any of these? No. We always have new products that are in development. A number of them we are very, very excited about. But we're speaking with our marketing team or operations. We, of course, we're in the middle of doing a number of very, very interesting clinical studies, but we don't have a release date yet, and that'll be, combination of a number of things. But in any case, you will definitely hear about it when we're getting ready to go into a new product launch. They're always fun. They're always exciting. They're always surprises. There's always opportunities to get free product when we are doing a product launch. So you'll just have to stay tuned for that for now. Okay, well, I have definitely gone over my time. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Really been a pleasure. And I think that with that, I'll bring back Emily. Emily, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David. Wow, that was really exciting. And I just was so thrilled to be able to learn so much more about CARNOSINE. It's one of my favorite products that we have, of course, in addition to X39. And honestly, such great information. I know each of you have lots of questions, and I'm glad that David was able to answer some of those today. And we encourage you to continue to do additional research on your own. David shared some great resources that we have available in our website under the science section. And he also brought up some great studies that are specific to CARNOSINE. And all those informations, all those pieces can be found through searching on the web. But I also wanted to let you know that we will be posting this training specific to CARNOSINE and X39 on our YouTube channel. So look for that. Again, thank you so much for participating in this call with us today. We hope that we see you again on our Lifewave Connect calls, and we can share additional information about our products, and we can teach you some additional things about the business as you hear from those leaders in the field that you partner with all the time, and as you share your experiences. And again, just want to encourage you to practice your story, really refine and outline how you can share your experience with the Lifewave technology. as you now incorporate, if you haven't already, carnosine into your routine, I know that you'll see some great things happen within your body. So we encourage you to do that. Also, as a reminder, we do currently have a promotion that's running where you can receive carnosine for free. So we encourage you to take advantage of that promotion and share that with those in your circle of influence. Thank you again for joining us, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye now.